Welcome to Vision Academy. In this video, I'm gonna consider one more topic under ANOVA, that is one-way ANOVA, which is a very important application in social science and biological experiments. In one-way ANOVA, I'm going to brief some of the things regarding one-way ANOVA. Along with that, I'm also going to explain steps to be followed in a one-way ANOVA. Very important steps along with the formulation of the each steps also I'm going to consider, and also very important assumption that are attached with one-way ANOVA I am also going to explain in this video. And very importantly, after calculating several factors in ANOVA, you have to plot all the data in the table, that is a tabulation table. Also, I will show you in this video. Formation of that table will show you in this video. Then let us explore some more things about ANOVA. Considering one-way ANOVA, why should we call this as one-way ANOVA is a very important factor, very important thing. One should be clear with this topic. Why should we call this as one-way ANOVA? Means we consider one factor of analysis of variance or one-way analysis of variance. And it means we are going to consider only one factor into the consideration, into the study, into the experiment. For that reason, we are going to call this as one-way ANOVA, and which is a special case of ANOVA where we consider one factor of variable of interest and generalization of two sample t-test. So if you have one factor, you can also go for t-test. The difference between one-way ANOVA and t-test is in its sample. If you have two sample, you can go for t-test. Two sample with one factor. One factor means which is an independent variable, there must be one factor. So using two sample t-test, we can decide whether the two groups, very importantly in the t-test we have to consider only two groups, whether the two groups of a factor have same mean. If you gone through the t-test, we are going to decide whether the two groups, let's say male and female, two groups have a same mean. But question comes to in our mind, what about the more than two sample? In such cases, you are not allowed to go for two sample t-test because assumption does not allow you to undertake two sample t-test. It is formulated for only two sample t-test, not more than two sample t-test. When you have one factor and more than two sample, then you must go for one-way analysis of variance, which is a very important distinction between t-test and one sample one-way ANOVA. So what does one-way ANOVA? One-way analysis of variance generalizes this to k levels. K levels means more than two of k levels factor, which means in case of t-test we are going to consider only two sample. In case of one-way ANOVA, generalizes this to k levels. K levels means more than two sample can be considered in one-way ANOVA along with one factor under the study. So I will tell you what is the meaning of one-way ANOVA. One-way analysis of variance is a technique which is simply a statistical tool such a technique where only one independent variable. This is very important. If you have two independent variable, you must go for two-way ANOVA. If you have one independent variable, this is a one factor consideration, then you must go for one-way ANOVA. But it does not mean if you have only one independent variable, you must have one dependent variable. The dependent variable, one independent variable at different levels is considered the different level which affects the response variable in the sense dependent variable. So here one thing is clear. If you have one independent variable, that is a one factor, you must consider one-way ANOVA. We use that independent variable different levels which affects the response variable. We look into the combination type. We consider several experiment in ANOVA. So let us see some of the assumptions that are very important assumption that we need to go for one-way ANOVA. So assumptions of one-way ANOVA falls like this. So first and foremost assumption of one-way ANOVA, which means Very importantly, dependent variable, that's a response variable, must be measured on interval scale. This is very important thing to understudy. At least on interval scale it must be measured. If your dependent variable is just like the nominal scale or ordinal scale, you are not allowed to go for one way ANOVA. So you need to comply with the assumption of one way ANOVA that independent variable, it does not matter on independent variable. Dependent variable must be measured on interval scale. So it must not be nominal scale or ordinal scale. At least it must be interval scale, and it could be ratio scale. And another assumption of one way ANOVA is the sample you obtain, that is a k sample. As I said you already, sample is more than 2. That k sample are independently and randomly drawn from the population. This is a very vital assumption of one way ANOVA. The sample that you obtain must be independently and randomly drawn from the population. The sample drawn like non-random type will not give you a right conclusion in one way ANOVA. Using the probability method of sampling, you must obtain your sample, then only we can apply one way ANOVA. Otherwise, if you got a sample collection of data from the sample type of non-probability method, you are not able to allow to use one way ANOVA. And very important, one more consideration, important consideration in all the parametric test is population can be reasonably to have a normal distribution. Very importantly, the data must be normally distributed to apply one way ANOVA. So in all, this is very common in all the parametric tests, whether you undertake t-test, f-test, chi-square test and ANOVA even, which are considering under the parametric test, their data must be normally distributed. Otherwise, you need to go for something like non-parametric testers. So if your data is normally distributed, you can go for one way ANOVA and this consideration. And last assumption I'm going to encounter is the k samples have approximately equal variances. This is very important. If you have more than 2 sample, we can say that is a k sample which is like group type and which must be approximately equal variances of each sample. Say for example, I'm going to consider gender under the consideration. Gender is a one factor for my study. Gender is a one factor. Under gender we can take like male and female, and nowadays we are also considering transgender. So here we consider 3 sample for the study. From one factor we consider 3 sample. One factor is male and one more factor is female, and another sample is transgender. But our factor is, in this study our factor is one factor. What is that one factor? One factor is gender. Gender of the respondent is the one factor. Under gender we are going to consider some of the sample, we are going to collect some of the sample, that male, female and transgender. These are k sample. Male, female, transgender are k sample. Those k sample have approximately have equal variance. And let us consider one more assumption of ANOVA. In the ANOVA, various effects are additive in nature. In the sense, we are going to add in various effects. Then let us know what is that we are talking about k levels. I told you with an example of gender. Here consider an example. Here consider plots of data in the in the row we have plots of data x, w, x, y, z, and in the columns we have a, b, c. Here we are going to consider k level sample. K level sample, what does it k level sample? It means we are going to consider w, x, y and z. We are having more than 2 sample, so this is a k level sample. It means the assumption 4 in this example is fulfilled. So by this way we have to fulfill our data with the assumption of one way ANOVA. Unless you fulfill assumption of one way ANOVA, you are not going to get a right conclusion using one-way ANOVA. And now let us explore very importantly steps for calculating one-way ANOVA, which is a very important. Unless you understand what are the steps we have to encounter with calculating one-way ANOVA and understanding how those steps are going to work, it will be very difficult you to comprehend one-way ANOVA. Then let us encounter one by one. Yeah, that set of null and alternative hypothesis is a first and foremost step in all the parametric tests, including one-way ANOVA also. We have to set up our null and alternative firstly. If you are not familiar with formulation of hypothesis, please see in the description box. I have already made a video on how to formulate null and alternative hypothesis. Here I am not going to stress much upon this because that video link is already available in the description box. You can go through that. So firstly we need to formulate that null and alternative hypothesis, and after formulating null and alternative hypothesis, for each data set we have to find out grand total. Grand total means if you have 3k sample, you have to add each k sample, and after adding each k sample, sum all the data of k sample. I will show you while I'm working out the problem how these things are going to happen. Say for example, as I told you already, gender is a one factor in our study. Under gender we have male, female and transgender. We have to add male data, we have to add female data, and we have to add transgender data individually. After adding each k levels, we have to add total of male, total of female, total of transgender, then we will get a grand total. So that is what sum of all the data. And after finding grand total, we also have to find out correction factor. So correction factor is very simple. In the earlier step you have found grand total, that is G. So G, you need to square the G, that's a grand total must be square, then divide by number of sample under the consideration, then you will get a correction factor. So G square by N is a formula for calculating correction factor. And also we need to calculate raw sum of square. So for calculating raw sum of square, we need to follow some formula. I will show you how that formula will going to affect us. Simply, if I want to tell how to make this raw sum of square, firstly square each and every sample in your data set. Very simple. Firstly you need to square each and every data in your set and add all the data set at the end, then you will get a raw sum of square. For that I will show you that formula for calculating raw sum of square. This is a raw sum of square. Here summation k I is equal to 1, summation n I j is equal to 1, y square I. So here we need to square all the data, whether it is in a k level or whether it is in a n level. N is an individual sample and k is a group of sample. Let's say we have male, female and transgender. That male category is come under k, and n is number of sample under k. That number of sample under male category is n. Here what we are going to do is we need to square all the individual sample and finally add k wise. So we will get a raw sum of square. So using tabulation we will get the data very easily. I will show you that while we are calculating the problem. Let me show you an example how to make raw sum of square. Here we are having 3 school, that school 1, school 2 and school 3. We have 3 schools in this given example. So school 1 is squared here. Yeah, sorry, we have 4 school in this example. We need to square all the samples here. Here say for example 8 into 8, when we square the 8, it is going to 64. 6 into 6 36, and 7 into 7 49, like that. You can also take this S4 we are going to get that result in S4 square. So 5 into 5, 25. Like this, we have to square all the samples in our data set, and finally look at here, we are going to add that data in the finally. Yeah, S1 square is 255, S2 square is 198, and S3 square is 260, and so on. We have to add all the data. And in case of raw sum of square, look at here, look at this formula. Raw sum of square equals to 255, 188, 260, 231. Total raw sum of square in this example is 944. How did we got this? We firstly square all the sample, and after squaring we added that sample. So finally, after adding that sample, we got raw sum of square. So this is how we can obtain raw sum of square. I will show you while I am calculating problem in the next video. So after calculating raw sum of square, we need to encounter one more step after that. So that is total sum of square. The total sum of square can be obtained like that. Short form is shortened form is TSS. We already calculated RSS, that is a raw sum of square here, and correction factor also we found CF correction factor. For total sum of square, we have to subtract correction factor by RSS. Then we will get what? We will get total sum of square. So this is a very simple equation. Each and every step you need to follow step by step. Just like unless you find RSS, you cannot go for TSS. So after finding total sum of square, you need to go for one more step, that is step number 6. In that step number 6, we need to find out SST. SST is that full form of sum of squares due to treatment. We have already made sum of square in the earlier steps. In the 6th step, we have to give a treatment. After giving treatment, we need to get that sum of square. That is what? Sum of squares due to treatment, that is SST. So we have separate formula for that, for calculating sum SST, that sum of square due to treatment. Here you can see that formula here, that is sum of square due to treatment. For calculating sum of square due to treatment, you need to consider number of sample under the study. In this example, N1, N2, N3 and up to N. This N, and also T1, T2, T3, Tn. Here T is a table, and if it is column, we can say C1. So we need to get sum of table 1 and make that square, and in the second sum of table 2 and make that square, sum of table 3 make that square, and so on. And N1 means number of sample in first sample. That sample size in first sample, just like in the male number of sample size, and in the female number of sample size, and in the transgender number of sample size, and so on. So we have to give a treatment, that is sum of squares due to treatment. So after square and divide all the things, we need to add all together. After, we will get some amount, sum of the data. The data must be subtracted by correction factor. When we give this treatment, we will get sum of square due to treatment. So by this way, we will calculate sum of square due to treatment. After calculating sum of square due to treatment, we also have to encounter with one more steps, that is sum of square due to errors, that is SSE, sum of square due to errors. How to obtain sum of square due to errors? In the earlier steps, we have found that TSS firstly, and SST also we have found. If you subtract TSS with SST, will get sum of square due to errors. So TSS minus SST, we will get SSE, that sum of square due to errors. So after finding SSE, we need to go for one more step called MSST, that is mean sum of square due to treatment. Mean sum of square due to treatment is MSST. The mean sum of square due to treatment can be obtained by SST by degree of freedom. So SST, we found SST in the earlier step. Here we found SST. SST, if you divide SST by degree of freedom, we will get mean sum of square due to treatment. So that degree of freedom can be expanded like k minus 1. Here degree of freedom can be obtained by k minus 1. K is a group of sample, as I told you, like male, female and transgender. We have 3k. 3 minus 1, we will get 2. So SST by 2, that we will give MSST. So after finding MSST, we also need to find one more one more thing, that is MSSE, that is mean sum of square due to errors. So that is mean sum of square due to errors. For mean sum of square due to errors, the formula is SSE divided by degree of freedom. Here the degree of freedom going to be quite different. In the last step, our degree of freedom was k minus 1. In this step, our degree of freedom can be obtained by n minus k. N minus k. Say for example, we have 20 samples in the study, so, and we have 3 k's. So 20 minus k, k means 3, 20 minus 3, 17. So by this way, degree of freedom can be obtained for MSSE. So the steps are very simple. If you got these steps, it is very simple. Here we have SST. SST in the further step, when we give treatment, it becomes MSST. For that SST, we have considered SST only. For MST, we have considered SST here. You can see in this formula. So this SST by degree of freedom, and for SSE goes to MSSE. So here same thing, SSE we have considered. So quite there is something like chain link here. You need to go for one by one, you need to go through one by one. So after finding all this, we have to go through one more thing in the data, that F ratio. We need to find out F ratio. For finding out F ratio, we need to divide MSST by MSSE. That is obtained in the earlier stage. That's MSST divided by MSSE. We will get F ratio. So this F ratio will be compared with the table value, and finally we will get a decision. So by this way, we need to, very importantly, we need to follow these 10 steps, which are very important in calculating one-way ANOVA. Most of the steps are going to similar for two-way ANOVA also. So after finding these 10 steps, we will plot all the data into the table, that is one-way ANOVA table. Other table can be named as ANOVA table for one-way classified data. So here very importantly, you need to learn how to form this table. Firstly, for forming the table, you need to start with the sources of variation. The sources of variation in ANOVA will be, for one-way ANOVA, we will have two sources of variation. One is due to treatment and due to error. We have two sources of variation. And after that, degree of freedom, and after next column is sum of square, and after that mean sum of square. Finally we will find variance, that F ratio. So we have two sources of variation in case of one-way classified ANOVA, and we know that we have mean sum of square and sum of square. Firstly we have to obtain sum of square, and then we will give mean sum of square. So under mean sum of square, we will get sum of square due to treatment, sum of square due to errors. When you add SST and SSE, you will get TSS. So that's very simple. Sum of square, in the sum of square we have two category. One is SST, that related degree of freedom you need to mention here, and one more is SSE, that related degree of freedom you need to mention here. And when we add SST and SSE, we will get TSS. When we add this degree of freedom and this degree of freedom, we have to get this total degree of freedom. For to know total degree of freedom, the formula is n minus 1. This must match with total degree of freedom. Then it means your problem is right. And after that, we have mean sum of square. We know that we have made mean sum of square also in the calculation of steps. We got to know that. So I told you SST will go for, when we give treatment, it will become mean sum of square. For that SST, consider MSST, and the degree of freedom. here you can see the degree of freedom k minus 1. Here the same thing, degree of freedom, and SST divided by k minus 1 will be MSST, and SSE will become MSSE. So for degree of freedom n minus k, here it is going to here you can see the degree of freedom n minus k, and for MSSE we will consider SSE divided by n minus k. So this is the formation of that table of ANOVA. So after that we will get this MSST divided by MSSE, we will get F ratio. So to obtain that we have the here formula again. You don't need to go for formula. You already obtained MSST and MSSE. You can consider it here only. So this data must be compared with table value. After table value you will come to a decision. So I hope you got to know the thorough understanding how to calculate steps and table and assumption of one-way ANOVA. In my next videos I will calculate a problem for your understanding, and you can refer this book which I studied for preparing this data and presenting this video. And thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to my Vision Academy YouTube channel. Thank you so much.